big pieces of like the MMT narrative that I think is very, very wrong. This idea that they like to claim that taxes don't fund spending, that because the government has a printing press that they don't need underlying revenue sources. And I just think they're kind of playing word games with a lot of this. I think the tax revenue that a government generates is a function of its output. Okay, and any underlying economy needs output in order to have viable money. The only reason people want money is because they really want the stuff that they can get with money. They don't really want the money, they really want the stuff that money gives them access to. And so you need the stuff to make the money valuable. You can't, it's putting the cart before the horse to get that backwards. And so in terms of the government and its tax revenues, the government needs tax revenues because it needs underlying output that generates the income that makes everything valuable. So it's like, I like to think of the government basically like a big bank. The government can create money from thin air, just like a regular bank can. But the bank needs underlying assets and income in order to be viable. Otherwise, nobody would trust that bank. That bank would have no creditors. And the government is really similar in that the government needs to have underlying resources and income to some degree that make everything viable, that makes everything work and supports the underlying credit issuance. Because that's what the government really does. The government is just a big issuer of credit. And the essential aspect of credit is that people need to some degree, believe that that credit is valuable in the long term. Otherwise, there's no reason for them to want to hold it. And when you have an economy that starts to produce less or just over time starts to sort of stagnate and doesn't have the underlying productive resources, the credit system becomes inherently less valuable to the people who are using it. And what happens is you get a lower demand for money, which results in an increase in the rate of inflation.